The morning sun rose over a quiet town. The streets looked calm. The air felt light. No one could guess that behind the smiles, behind the music, a storm was waiting. At the center of it all stood a grand hotel. White roses decorated the steps. A polished black limousine gleamed outside. Guests whispered in excitement. A wedding was about to begin. But this was not a wedding built on love. It was built on pride, on arrogance, on cruelty. The groom wasn't planning to celebrate only. He was planning to wound, to humiliate, to destroy. Because among the many guests, he had invited someone very specific. Not to honor her, not to reconcile, but to break her one last time. He wanted his ex-wife to watch him marry another. He wanted her to see his true happily ever after. He wanted her to feel small, forgotten, unworthy. But life has its own way of turning tables, and what he never expected was that she would arrive not broken, not desperate, not alone, but stronger than ever, stepping out of a limousine with two little girls by her side. His daughters, the twins he had abandoned. And in that moment, the air shifted. Everyone froze. Everyone stared. But let's step back. This story doesn't start here. It starts with Emma. Emma was gentle, hardworking, and full of quiet strength. But in a world obsessed with money and power, she often went unseen. When she first met Daniel, she believed she had found her forever. Her family warned her. Her friends whispered doubts. But Emma ignored them. She gave him her heart, her time, and her trust. Daniel came from money, but he wanted more. He wanted status, power, influence. Emma believed in his dreams even when they drained her. She worked long hours as a waitress. She cleaned houses at night. She skipped meals to save money. Everything she earned went into Daniel's ambitions. Her love was deep. Her sacrifice was silent. Her loyalty was blind. And then Daniel made it. His business grew. His pockets filled. But success did not soften him. It hardened him. Love vanished. Pride replaced it. He looked at Emma not as his partner, but as a chain holding him back. One day, without warning, Daniel filed for divorce. No explanation. No kindness. Just cold papers on a table. He left her with almost nothing. An old car that coughed smoke. A tiny apartment she could barely afford. And a heart shattered into pieces. But life wasn't done with Emma. Just weeks later, she discovered something that shook her. She was pregnant. Not with one child, but with twins. Fear swallowed her. How could she raise two babies alone? With no money, no partner, no help. She cried. She panicked. But then something inside her shifted. She was not powerless. She was a mother. And her daughters needed her. That was enough reason to fight. Years passed. Emma worked harder than ever. Days in one job, nights in another. Her arms rocked two crying babies while her body begged for rest. But she never gave up. Her daughters were her light. Their tiny hands gave her strength. Their laughter made the pain worth it. Meanwhile, Daniel climbed higher. He never asked about Emma. He never cared about the twins. To his friends, he painted himself as the victim. He told them Emma was nothing but a poor burden. He told them she had held him back. And when he met Sophia, a young woman from a wealthy family, Daniel felt unstoppable. Sophia was his ticket to higher society. Marrying her meant more respect, more power, more proof that he had upgraded. As the wedding approached, Daniel thought of Emma. He smirked at the idea of her showing up. He imagined her in cheap clothes, tired, struggling, watching him marry a real woman. So he sent her an invitation, not as a courtesy, but as a weapon. But Emma had changed. She was no longer the weak woman he abandoned. Through pain and struggle, she had built a new life. She worked at a design studio. Her talent shone. Soon, she opened her own boutique. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't loud. But it grew. People respected her work. They respected her story. Most of all, Emma raised her twins with love and dignity. She taught them courage. She taught them kindness. She taught them to walk with heads held high. By the time the invitation arrived, the girls were 6. Beautiful, confident, bright. Her pride. Her treasure. At first, Emma wanted to throw the invitation away. Why step back into his world? Why face the whispers? But then she thought of her daughters. She wanted them to see something important, that no one, not even their father, had the right to define their worth. So she made a decision. She would go, not to fight, not to seek revenge, but to stand tall. The wedding day came. The hotel sparkled with wealth. Guests wore glittering gowns and sharp suits. Daniel looked proud in his white tuxedo. Sophia glowed in her fitted dress. Photographers snapped. Guests clapped. Everything seemed perfect, until the sound of another limousine pulling up cut through the air. The chauffeur stepped out. He opened the door slowly. First, 2 little girls stepped out. Matching dresses in soft yellow, tiny hands clasped together. Their curls bounced as they walked. Gasps spread through the crowd. Whispers began. And then Emma stepped out. She wore a deep green gown. Her figure is elegant. Her face is calm, but powerful. The air froze. The whispers grew louder. Daniel's confident smile collapsed. His skin turned pale. His pride crumbled. Sophia shifted uncomfortably, feeling the weight of everyone's eyes. Emma walked forward, holding her daughter's hands. Each step echoed louder than any music. Each glance from the crowd carried awe and respect. For years, Daniel had told them lies about Emma. But now, they saw the truth. They saw a woman not broken, but whole. Not bitter, but strong. Not alone, but surrounded by love. The ceremony went on, but nothing felt the same. Guests stared at Emma more than the bride. Some quietly congratulated her. Others looked guilty for believing Daniel's stories. The twins giggled and played, melting hearts. Emma smiled softly, never bitter, never vengeful. She didn't need to ruin the wedding. Her presence alone was enough. Daniel had tried to shame her, but in the end, he only exposed himself. His emptiness, his cruelty, his lies. By the end of the night, the memory people carried wasn't Sophia's gown or the flowers. It was the sight of Emma stepping out of that limousine with 2 daughters glowing at her side. In the weeks that followed, whispers spread across town. Daniel's arrogance was unmasked. Sophia realized the shadow she had married into. Meanwhile, Emma's boutique flourished even more. Customers came not just for her designs, but for the story behind them. She became a symbol of dignity, resilience, and strength. Her daughters grew knowing their mother's worth. They grew knowing that love, not wealth, was the true success. And Emma found peace. She had walked through fire and came out shining, not with revenge, but with grace. If this story touched your heart, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Tales Benanya. Your support helps us spread more stories about courage, resilience, and the power of love. And before you leave, we'd love to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in Emma's place? Your words might inspire someone else today, because sometimes the strongest revenge is living well.